This is episode 84 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we're bringing you a Separatist game. Not just from me this time, Sean is bringing Separatist too, because he just likes copying my stuff.
Yes, because what I've done is brought your list.
Hey, that one of your ships is in my list.
Yeah, touche. Actually, if you pay careful attention, you'll in fact find it is not Sam, it is in fact Christoph, because I forgot to change the name from the last person I played in Kaiba on the overlay. So,
Fair.
that shall be your new name from now on.
Very well, I am now Christoph.
Speaking of, we did promise an update on Kaiba last week to let you guys know how we went. Poorly.
Yeah, Sean failed us completely. He didn't win all the games.
Yeah, I know, right? 4-1 just wasn't good enough.
Yeah, no, you should have won our games too. You should have tried a lot harder.
I see. So you should have subbed. We should have subbed me in for one of you guys. Yeah. We ended 2-3, but I mean they were all close. Like we had 1-0-3, and the rest were all 1-2s, and our wins were all 3-0. So, but it was good. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I like team events. I always like team events.
Yeah, team events are always fun. Like that's the thing, isn't it?
So, yeah.
But in the aftermath of that, now we're going to start properly looking at STO. I'm not actually sure I want to bring my contingency protocol list to STO, to be honest.
I think making that decision 2 weeks before the tournament is probably a bad idea.
No, I think that the thing is that the only reason I'm contemplating this is because my backup would just be a droid swarm, and that's functionally the same as what I'm flying currently. It's just that if I can upgrade the contingency protocol list to just a better droid swarm, why not?
But is it better? Because that getting an action while things die catches people out.
Yeah, it catches people out, but like most good players, it'll happen once, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I just kill your good ships."
Well, yeah. Well,
but either way, that's it for me. Look, either way, I'm flying some form of 7 to 8 ship droid list. The actual form of it is honestly kind of whatever at this point, really, isn't it?
Or possibly a 7 ship list as we scoot into today's match.
Yeah, like I said, 7 or 8. Because here we are.
Didn't you? I'll let you off.
Yeah. Because here we are. I'm flying a droid swarm, but that isn't the contingency protocol list partly because I just want to fly something else.
So what Sam's done here is he's looked at LVO. He's gone, hey, someone did well with an infiltrator. Sam loves flying infiltrators. So Sam's taken that list from LVO and made it worse.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's get into it. I have Siege of Coruscant Dooku, who I think is a good Dooku when it comes. Like I think Siege of Coruscant Dooku is just a solid ship.
I mean, 6-point infiltrator I5 with 3 forces.
Yeah,
is pretty good.
Roiling Anger, good. Malice, good. Scimitar, good. Enough said.
Yeah.
Then I've also got Dirge. With seismic charges, the Xanadu blood title, false transponder codes, and proton cannons, and he's going to basically be cloaked, occasionally fire his proton cannons, and just be annoying. I don't have another word for what he's supposed to do. And then I have 5 Vulture droids, 2 Howard Child prototypes with energy cell charges and grappling struts, the Iron Assembler with shells, grappling struts, and munitions failsafe, and 2 Kilrodo Eye holdouts with energy shells, predator, and munitions failsafe. So a great big whack of shell droids.
And I have to say, after this specific match, I can understand why Chris hates the Iron Assembler so much. I'm pretty sure, spoilers, I literally did double his health.
I think you did 7 damage to him in
7,
total.
yeah. To kill a 3-hull ship.
Yeah.
That cost 2 points.
Yep. Well, I actually think the Iron Assembler is the most annoying 2-cost ship in the game.
Yeah, I can see that. Sometimes he'll one-shot and die, but...
Yeah. But if he ever doesn't, then he's like...
Yeah.
And let alone, he helps other people live for longer as well, right? Like, that's like even more upside.
So, against that, I have brought one of the other good Separatist lists with Jango Fett. And I kitted out Django with Elusive, Savaggio Press, Thermal Detonators, False Transponders, Contraband, Delayed Fuses, the Slave One title, and Veteran Tail Gunner. I also have a Dirge, which is exactly the same as Sam's, apart from the fact that I have a heavy laser cannon as opposed to the proton cannon, and I have Contraband over False Transponders.
So literally half our upgrades are different.
Well, it's a bullseye cannon for a bullseye cannon, and it's one of the two most common elicits for the other most common elicit. And my plan is exactly the same. Be annoying. I have bought General Grievous with Outmaneuver, Impervium Plating, and Soulless One, because, boy, playing against Sam for the last 3 years has General Grievous irritated me. I'm just going to reroll into evades. I'm going to nuke your crits, and so do you know what? It's payback time.
Yeah, and you know what? I feel like General Grievous, like, this isn't a bold take or out there. It's just such a solid ship at 5 points, right?
I mean,
it's just it's not amazing, it's not bad, it's just so unbelievably solid.
I'd argue he's the best 5-point ship in Separatists.
Oh, definitely, but he doesn't have much competition.
Well,
his competition is the gunships.
Well, yeah, right, fair dues.
And I guess Chertek. His competition is the gunships and Chertek, Sean.
All right. Isn't Volandas 5 points?
Volandas is 4.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Oh, and Dis 281, Tier 1, that's the other 5-point ship. The Siege of Coruscant Dis.
All right, that's fair. And rounding out, DBS 404, Siege of Coruscant. So, Contingency Protocol, useless in this list. Strutlock Override and the 6 dice Advanced Proton Torpedo, if I ever get it off.
Yeah, pretty much. Basically, his reason for existence.
I mean, again, I'd argue for 3 points, one of the most efficient, certainly in Separatists, the most efficient 3-point ship. 5 health, a 6 dice gun that you can't ignore if you get the range 1 shot.
Yeah. And if you somehow say, haha, I've jammed your target lock, well, I'm still 4 dice at range 1.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, the cost of killing him normally is more than 3 points worth.
Yeah, except when you're me last night and you do 3 damage to yourself after firing. For full disclosure, I had been given a fuel leak. I fired range 1 at a cover, and I took a direct hit on my crit, so I took 3 damage off the fuel leak and the direct hit and died.
Sad times.
Bad times.
So this evening we are playing Chance Engagement. And yeah, so no objectives to talk about, which is nice and easy. We roll off, and I am first player.
And I can't remember what order we set up these rocks in, but essentially, I was trying to scatter mine around the center objective.
Whereas I wanted a cluster somewhere, but some free space to operate in as well. Yeah. Like because we've both got seismics, I was just thinking for me, a cluster's good for me if you can drop a seismic where you've got multiple targets, I suppose.
Yeah.
So much the better. And then spoilers, I heck up turn 0 with my ship placement on that thought. But so yeah, we've basically got a cluster of 3 circling the center objective, 2 on my bottom edge in the center and left, and 1 in your top left. Yeah. So there's a chunk of space in the middle left hand side, and a large part of the right hand side is free.
And then we get to set up, and so you have first player, which means my 5s get to go after your 5. But my entire droid swarm plonks itself in an X formation in essentially the top left of the board, right?
Yeah.
Like, as in, I so for full disclosure, I'm looking at the screen from Sean's perspective, so the top left would be my right. But I just plonk down a formation of 5, top left of the screen, and say, if you want to deploy opposite me, fine.
So then we go to my 4s, and I do deploy Grievous opposite in the classic I've learned from Sam 45-degree angle in the corner. so that I can 2 straight and then barrel roll in either direction past the obstacle, depending on what Sam's done with those droids.
Yeah.
You know, if he's turned away to rejoin, come down after my other shits, which I already know are going to get set up on the other side of the board edge, then I turn in and start trying to get behind. And if he comes after Grievous, run away. So I set up 404 just to the right of the centre objective. Well, a quarter of the way in to the right from the centre objective. Basically, just to the right of the furthest asteroid. Basically thinking, if I need to turn in through the rocks, he's got the strut lock override, but I want space to be able to maneuver with him and try and get
barrel roll and target lock and calculate.
Because I don't have the luxury of, hey, you've killed a ship, I can now barrel roll him into range 1, nav lock, and fire it off halfway through. So, and then my 5, and this is actually where I think I make my first mistake. I set up Dirge on the far right hand side, and my thought was I'm going to cloak with him turn 1 so that he gets his extra dice and just becomes annoying. And I thought maybe I can, because I didn't know where your 5s were going at the time. I didn't know if you'd set them up with the droids, you spread them out. I thought, if I go there, I can sort of go up the large space that I know a droid swarm isn't coming at me now, sort of bank round the back, and then I can cut in if needs be. If you do put one ship by itself, maybe because I can place Django afterwards, I can place Django with him. We can jet both of them forwards. I actually think putting him where he can get in a position to just go through the rocks and drop a seismic, because your droids are going to have to come somewhere near that.
Yeah.
And it also denies you a turreting position.
Yep.
Yeah, I think maybe the left of the centre one, where I can shoot up towards the centre and then drop a bomb and duck out to the right if needs be. But
yeah, no, I can see that.
I think that would have been a better shout.
Yeah. So it's now seeing where Grievous, 404, and Dirge go. I put Dooku in the top right hand corner, directly opposite Grievous, and I put Dooku at about 45-degree angle, basically directly facing Grievous. If we were to just straight maneuver for the rest of the game, we'd bump into each other around the middle somewhere.
Yep.
And then I put Dirge relatively close to the center with a straight line through the rocks to the center objective, because I don't know where Django's going, and I just want to make sure someone is getting me the point for the objective on round 2. And at this point, it's currently looking like it's going to be Dirge. I don't think Dooku wants to go into the middle just yet.
No, that's fair. And because you've done that, I set up Django next in between Dirge and 404, because I'm thinking I'm going to gun a bit fast here. If Dooku comes towards me, he's not I'm going to be cloaked, then you shoot me, then I decloak and fire a proton at you. And, he's a 3-dice gun and he's got 4s, but it's still a 3-dice gun.
Yeah.
If I can line up the bullseye with Dirge, if I can get the fire spray on him, and I can get the range 1 APT from 404, great. If you decide to turn away, he doesn't have bombs, so I don't need to worry about that. I can just merrily follow him round with the fire spray. Was my thinking there. And then if it goes untoward, I've still, a fast turn 1, I've still got a hard turn into the left, into the centre turn 2 if I need to. So
yeah.
That was my thinking there. So let's get to it.
So my first turn is pretty damn simple. So obviously end of setup, Dooku cloaks for free. And my first turn with those guys, Dirge and Dooku just want to avoid the fight, and the droids want to go gunning for Grievous, because if Sean has messed up, I want to punish.
Yes.
So they all 5 straight and calculate, the droids.
404 does a 4 straight and calculates, because it's the fastest he can go unstressed. I do a 2 straight with Grievous. I barrel roll to the right, and I don't mink it because there's no point.
Urge does a 2 straight and cloaks, and then Dooku does a 1 straight and just takes a target lock because I think I asked, did you have any jam? And you said yes, you did on Django for false transponders.
False transponders, yeah.
I just thought, cool, let's just take the lock.
I do I think that's a 5 straight with Dirge, and I cloak. And then I do a 4 straight and I boost with Django, because I think I can sneak into range 3 here, looking at where your target lock circle landed. Bit of free information you don't normally pick up there.
Yeah. I mean, in real life, when you generally don't ask your opponent, by the way, can you just measure your range 3 out this way, just for no reason?
Exactly. So we go to the engagement phase, and it's Django. And I do have a range 3 shot. I mean, I'm not expecting it to do much. It's range 3 against the cloaked infiltrator. That's like 4 dice.
Yep.
But we might as well. I roll focus, spend a force for 2 hits.
I roll 2 of 8s.
Nice. And that's the only shooting.
Yeah. So for the next turn, this is an interesting because I do this move with Grievous all the time, and often in this situation with Grievous, I'm tempted to one hard to the left and try and or one bank to the left, just to try and like make sure I'm keep the opponent honest essentially. Because if my droid swarm turns into the center, Grievous is in outflanking position, and if it doesn't, with one bank, Grievous can still get away. So I'm thinking, okay, I wonder if Sean will be tempted to do what I often do. So I think I'm just going to jet at Grievous again because the center is whatever, right? Dirge is for my sake, Dirge is going to be close to the center, and Dooku is running away. So I don't need to get there this turn.
So whereas I'm on the flip side, I'm like, I fully know you know how to play Grievous very well. Yeah. That probably doesn't mean I shouldn't play Grievous that way, because it's...
Yeah.
So I'm thinking the exact same as you, but I want to guarantee that I've gotten out, or at least I'm taking range 3 obstructed shots for this turn, and I've got good outs on the second turn. But I'm pretty sure I do dial in that 1 bank, because I think it's the right... Right, cool. So system phase. I am first player this turn, and I decloak Dirge forwards because I think there's a chance I can start shooting at Dooku, and lining up that HLC bullseye on the large base ship is a lot easier than any of your other ships.
Yeah. And then I decloak my Dirge basically to the left, to the side of the droids, just because I'm pretty sure a 2 bank lines me up through the pair of debris just above the center objective, and I should end up at range 2 of the center. Which
is interesting, because when you decloaked there, I was expecting a hard turn left.
Interesting.
Because, or to the right as we're looking at it, towards Django. Because looking at where Dooku is, I was like, you've got a choice here. You either run away or you engage. And I was like, if you choose to engage and then you've hard turned Dirge in to try and line up that bullseye, you could do a lot of damage to one of my ships. But even if you decide not to, it's just keeping me honest. And Dirge can take a punch because when he dies, he comes back to life. So
yeah, because my thought here was, okay, they're coming around that side. Dirge and Grievous get away. Let's see if I can get the droid swarm to catch Dirge and Dooku get away. See if I can get the droid swarm to catch Grievous, and then if I don't this turn, I can just turn in.
Yeah.
So everyone 5 straights. One of the Kelrodo eyes takes a target lock, as does the other Kelrodo eye takes a target lock onto Grievous just for next turn. Because
if I remember rightly, I don't think everyone 5 straights.
Is it, oh yeah, no, I just send the Kelrodos, don't I?
Yeah.
I think everyone else makes either hard turns or banks here. Yeah, they hard turn it there. The Tower Charles and the Iron Assembler 3 hard and calculate. A couple of them barrel roll downwards. Yes, Iron. So I was like, I'll keep you honest because the Kelrodos are right there, and yes, General Grievous can do it, but at least this is like a threatening shot.
Yeah.
And if you don't, then they can turn in because the Kelrodo have a stupidly good dial, guys. Like seriously, look at their pilot ability and look at the Vulture dial.
Yeah. So 404 does, I think it's a 2 straight, because a 3 will put me on the rock. And I just take a target lock onto Dooku, just in case you have decided to come down this way. I know the infiltrator dial, the likelihood is you land somewhere range 1.
Yeah, that's pretty true.
And if you haven't, fine. I do the one bank with Dooku. I barrel roll.
Grievous.
Grievous, sorry. I barrel roll.
Now I got them mixed up. Not getting them mixed up. We're both getting a card.
I barrel roll to the right and I link it to a focus. And this, I think, is a mistake. I barrel roll to the right because I think it gets me out of Green's arc, but it's close. And
I think you're right.
It obstructs the shot from yellow.
The other Calrodo, yeah.
But what it does do is it makes it very, very easy for you to block Grievous next turn.
Yes.
What I think I should have done is barrel roll to the left. Because you don't have...
Okay, so honestly, I actually disagree. I think you should barrel roll to the right, just not focused.
Yeah, maybe. But my thought here...
Because this way, it's a lot harder for me to block you when you're not stressed. Well, actually, you could still do a 5 straight when you're stressed, but like... It's a lot when you're not stressed over here. It's a lot harder for me to block you. If I turn in, like, yes, I'm there, but at least you have a lot more options if you're not stressed.
Well, I was looking at thinking, you turn in and you block all my fast options, and any of the slow, I just end up range 1 facing you, which isn't good for me.
That's true.
Whereas I think if I went left, okay, I take 2 shots, but I don't think the range 1. You haven't got to calculate for the shells.
Yeah, so it's just good old target locked shots.
And I don't think I would have been in the bullseye for Predator. And then suddenly I'm behind
the swarm.
Your other 3, who 2 of them are stressed, so they're not turning in on me.
Yeah.
And I can just get in behind them next turn. And like 2 shots from those droids, it would have to be some really bad dice for Grievous to die.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, 2 shots from those droids, I blink a shield off maybe.
So, yeah, I think, because I don't think there's any way you could block a fast maneuver with the AIs next turn.
Hey, yeah, all I could do there is I would just have to 1k and essentially hope you went fast.
Exactly. And then, okay, and that means I'm taking unmodded shots, and you're in my back, so you get the Grievous, Soulless 1 rerolls. I think...
Yeah, no, I can see that. I can see, because... Actually, no, you're right, because essentially, if you barrel to the left, you're opting into a 1v2. Barreling into the right, you're opting into a 1v5.
Yeah, exactly. That was me just thinking about that turn and taking 1 less shot, but it actually sets me up for a worse turn 3.
Yeah. Exactly, because by turn 3, Dirge is involved.
Yeah, exactly. Although, admittedly, at the time, I didn't know Dirge was 2 banking, and I was still thinking he was going to...
At the time, you don't know Dirge is 2 banking, but like even if he doesn't, like the fact that he's on this side of the board, like says if you go even further left, it's still harder for me to get involved.
Yeah.
But let's move on.
Yes. So it's my 5, who just does a 1 bank, clears the stress. I just want to have the bullseye pointing in the direction towards which I'm hoping Dooku is going, and I take a focus.
Dirge, I believe that is a 1 bank to the right. I just take a target lock onto DBS 404 because you're there, and then Dooku does a 3 bank to the right, and I think I barrel roll, but I can't remember.
The important thing here that we just skipped over and made me a little bit sad was that lock from Dirge actually pings false transponder codes and removes 404's lock. Which is actually quite important because it means that, like, next turn I can't just go in, get a calculate, get a double modded APT and...
Because I think I did say that out loud. I'm pretty sure I did.
No, you did say it out loud at the time. Well, it wasn't like a shock, it was just... And you take a focus.
Oh, no, I just focus.
I think we look at it, and I don't think you're in my Dirge's bullseye, so... and then Django does, I think, is a 3 bank. And takes a target lock onto Dooku, which pings my false transponders codes.
So false transponders are both down. Here we go.
All right, you've got the force, but I am denied about that. But I kind of thought having the lock was more important than conserving false transponder codes. So
yeah.
We go in, and it is range 2, just.
Barely.
Into Dooku. I roll 2 hits and a blank.
No, you roll. You put the dice down, and it was 2 hits and a blank. Then you rolled it. You got hit, focus, blank.
Fail mix. So I spend the lock on the focus and the blank, and roll it into a hit and a focus, and I spend the force for 3.
And then don't trigger slave 1 because you forget every time. Every
single turn, because that could have been a crit. But
I rolled 2 evades and a blank, so I just take a shield.
Dirge does range 3 primary. Rolls hit focus, spends the focus for 2.
And I roll 2 evades again.
DBS has a 2 obstructed. Rolls hit focus, spends.
I don't think you spend anything.
Oh yeah, no, I'm just getting rid of the dice. And I'm pretty sure you dodged that one as well.
Yeah, 2 evades and focus. Then Grievous has a shot, range 2 outmaneuver into the Iron Assembler.
Yeah. Rolls hit crits, blank. Grievous reroll, winter under blank.
What evade blank. What crit do I take?
I believe it's direct hit because you're down to 1.
Okay, direct hit. Yeah, I see. Then I check my Colorades and we just take random shots. I get hit focus, spend the lock on the focus for the second hit.
Which Grievous dodges.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Maybe I shouldn't have spent the lock, but I was like, you know what? Honestly, at this point, damage is damage.
Yeah, exactly. I don't blame you. So I've nabbed half points for the AI. The Iron Assembler even. Which is great. He may be able to repair himself, but at least you don't get half points back.
That is true, that's true. And then we both get a point for the zone.
Yeah, so 2-1. And it's at this point, I'm like, yeah, you're just going to turn in on Grievous here.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the point I think I should have gone the other way.
Yeah.
Because I don't really have a way of getting the rest of my ships majorly on the droid form. Like they're kind of committed to.
They've kind of committed to Dooku and Dirge at this point.
I mean, next turn they can swing in.
Oh yeah.
So we go into turn 3, and I'm first player. There are no system phases this turn.
Yep, I don't decloak. Then so the Colorado closest to Grievous does a 1 hard and calculates. The other Colorado does a 3 hard, and then this is where I am not used to flying the Colorados because their ability makes this 3 hard red.
Oh yeah.
I just forgot. I just forgot it was a thing. So I then barrel roll and link it to a focus because that's the linked action. But that's something I need to just remember that their dial improves on their banks, but their 3 hards become red, and it just wasn't ingrained in me.
Do they still get struts?
Yeah, no, they can't have struts.
They can't have struts because that 3 hard would have left you in front of the rock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like this is it's one of those things where it's like I don't consider the 3 hard a mistake as such because if it is white, it's the best move available to me, but I shouldn't have been able to do it. It should have just been a 1 hard.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Then the other droids all do, I believe. The Iron Assembler does a 2 hard barrel roll to the right, calculate. One of the Howard Childs does a 2 hard barrel roll to the right, calculate. And the third Howard Child does a 2 hard to the right and calculate. And I have 5 ships pointing at Grievous, who's just done a 2 bank.
Yeah, I've done a 2 bank to ditch the stress. I can't barrel roll out of it. And that's a mistake as well. I should have just gunned in a fast maneuver, stayed stressed.
Yeah,
rely on the rerolls because actually, if I'd done a 5 straight, I think I dodged certainly 3 of the arcs, maybe 4.
Yeah, but you might be out of all of them, to be honest.
But yeah, there we go. That's me. I think it's like the second time I've played Grievous, so
yeah,
we'll get there. I mean, spoilers. I don't think he dies, so
he doesn't die.
But yeah,
he does Grievous things.
So I am an R here about. I seriously considered attempting the barrel roll to the left, but I just don't think that clears. And I talked about it for a while, and in the end, I actually attempt to boost to the right because I'm close to the Iron Assembler, like quite close. And if you're touching, you go through with quite a lot to spare. And I was like, if I can just get through, then I dodge blues, I dodge the Iron Assemblers, and I'm getting rerolls on everyone.
Yeah.
But it doesn't. It doesn't fit. So,
which also means no focus for Grievous.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm getting rerolls on three of the shots, and I get to range one into the Iron Assembler first.
That's true. And he's got 1 health.
So 404 flips a charge of Strut Lock Override. I know how this works. You know, I don't cheat on this or anything.
Only because I found out how I was wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. I 3 hard through the rock. And because of where it's gone, I think this is the point where I go, I could get a shot onto Dooku here, but where Grievous is, I can barrel roll, take a target lock on one of the Hal Charles and get that APT off against it. And if I'm 6 on 2, if I'm lucky enough to get the 3 damage through, then that's 1 less shot coming into Grievous.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do barrel roll to the left. I link it to a lock. Apparently forget to take the stress. Well, let's hope I remember that.
I think we get there in the end.
So my dirge is first, which is a little shame. I was kind of hoping to go after Dooku. But I do a 2 straight, I think, and link it to a focus, to a lock. Link it, just do a lock even.
After you execute a maneuver, acquire a lock.
And then your 5s.
So Dirge does a 2 bank to the left because I was like, I think I've got Grievous trapped here, so let's try and capitalize on that. And I don't have Grievous in the bullseye, I think, because I think I'm pretty sure I just take a focus and try to boost and get close. Oh, just a focus.
Just a focus.
I thought I tried to boost here. Must be another turn. Then Dooku does a 2 sloop.
2 sloop. I love the Infiltrator 2 sloop. I probably should have seen that one coming, actually, but hey.
I'm still cloaked, and I have no way to lose the cloak, so it's not like he's threatening.
No, I just meant because maybe I should have kept 404 where he was, or even barrel rolled the other way.
Yeah. And
locked Dooku. Django does a 1 bank and takes a lock onto Dooku. So Django shoots, range 2 into Dooku.
I roiling anger to get a force back.
So I roll crit hit blank. I lock the blank into a blank. And you roll 2 evades.
I roll 2 evades.
I'm sitting there going, come on, roll a focus. You've done a harder maneuver than me. I can use Django's ability. And I'm pretty sure
I must be Dookuing at some point here because I can't remember when I Dooku dice, but for me to have roiling angered because I don't remember having spent any force in the previous attacks.
I think you might have on one of the defense and rolled a focus and we But I'm pretty sure, I may be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that you Dooku quite a few times, and I'm sure every time you Dooku you roll the
but that's the risk you end up.
Oh yeah, of course. Dirge has a range 2 shot. Range 2 shot. He rolls hit. He rolls 1 crit and a focus. Spends a lock and rolls it into a blank. So 1 crit.
And I roll evade blank focus. Then my Dirge, range 2 into Grievous. I roll crit focus. Spend my focus token for hit crit.
I roll evade focus. I think I Solus 1 reroll into an evade. 404 gets the 6 dice APT.
Into the Howard Charles.
At which point I had high hopes, and I shouldn't have, because I've watched Sam do this enough times to...
Yeah, come on. You must know, but at this point, that DBS 404 either does one of 2 things, Sean. He deals 1 damage and crits himself, or he one-shots someone. And when you're against a Vulture droid, you know he's going to deal 1 damage and crit himself. So I roll crit hit, focus 3 blanks. Yep.
So I change the hit to a crit with the APT, re-roll the rest of them. At which point I think, okay, 4 dice, I should net another 2.
Yeah.
Which realistically means crit are going through. And I roll them into 4 hits.
Yeah,
so
and this is the other side of 404.
Yeah.
So my Howard Charles is dead. Even with the evade focus I roll, I spend a calculate for the double evade.
I don't believe you do.
Yeah, I know I don't. Because Grievous is about to shoot, and the Iron Assembler could use all the help he can get.
I take a crit, and it is a loose stabilizer. But I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah.
Grievous goes range 1 into the Iron Assembler, rolls 2 crits.
I roll evade focus. I spend the calculate from the dead Howard Charles for 2 evades.
Like, come on, I just need 1 blank. But no such luck.
Yeah.
So you start going into Grievous.
Yeah, so now it's the I1. So my Kelrodo I, who illegally did a barrel roll into a focus, rolled 2 focuses and spent his focus tokens for 2 hits.
I roll evade blank. I Solus 1 into a focus, so I take 1 damage.
And then my other Kelrodo I has a range 1 shot. I roll 2 hits and a focus, so I spend his calculate for 3 hits.
I roll 2 evades, so I take another shield.
The remaining Howard Charles, range 1 into General Grievous. I roll crit focus, so I spend my calculate and the Iron Assembler's calculate for hit crit.
I roll evade focus. I Solus 1 the focus into an evade. The crit is a direct hit, so Impervium Plating says no.
Yep.
And boy, was I feeling a little happy at that, going, yes, this has happened to me so many times.
It's a good feeling, isn't it?
Yeah. So after being in 6 arcs at the start of that turn, Grievous has taken 2 shields. And I'm just like, I've locked out here. And
it's not like I was rolling blank. Like every single one of my attacks was full pain.
Like I think I only had 1 where it wasn't 2 of it. No, 2 where it wasn't. No, 1 where it wasn't 2 evades.
1 where it wasn't 2 evades. Yeah. But my final shot, Iron Assembler, range 1.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that
into
one.
General Grievous. I roll hit focus.
And I roll 2 evades.
Yep.
I'm like, yeah, nice. I've lucked out there. Okay, I've burnt 1 Impervium, but fine, I've killed a droid. Happy days.
And we both get a point for the zone.
We both get a point for the zone.
So I was a little bit disappointed by that, but it's one of those things where, like, sometimes Grievous does that because, like, another 3 games and, like, he'll just blank out and die horribly and it'll feel really bad.
That's it. He's one of those.
Yeah.
He'll just tank everything or he'll whimper in 1-2 shots.
He reminds me of Bobber. Like, Bobber either lives forever or just suddenly dies.
Yeah.
But we've got interesting choices because for me, this turn is decloak time.
Yeah,
Duke is going to start doing something.
See, I wasn't sure if it'd be this turn, but I was also kind of hedging my bets on going second here, which
that's fair.
So we roll off and I do not go second. So you decloak.
I decloak to the left, and I think I decloak center. I'm pretty sure I decloak centered. Then I drop a seismic with Dirge because, like, 404 had a loose stabilizer. He's probably going straight. Django's probably near a rock somewhere, and I know my droids aren't going to be near the top rocks there.
Yeah.
So this is a risk I'm perfectly happy to take. And the mission of the day of the droids is just basically 2 hard and 2 bank to get their arcs back facing towards the center, where I imagine Grievous is going to end up.
Yeah. Whereas I was thinking, Blue's stressed, so is not turning around on me. Dirge is facing towards me, so if he's turning around, he's going to be unmodded. So I'm thinking a nice little 3 sloop here. Catch someone who hasn't got arc on me for the outmaneuver reroll shot. So I wasn't sure where you were going with Dooku. And especially once you'd done that decloak up there, I thought maybe a bank down. So I drop a couple of thermals with Django, thinking if we just catch him, great. Blink some damage through. Happy days. Plus, I never end up actually dropping all my bombs, so I was like, might as well start. But we go to your 1s.
So the Iron Assembler does a 2 hard to the left and lands on a rock, flips his struts, and takes a calculate. The Howard Child does a 2 hard to the left, takes a calculate, and the 2 Kilrodo eyes do 2 banks to the left and calculate. Except for the back one who does a 2 straight. What did I 2 bank there? I don't actually. That's a silly. It's because I've forgotten that they're Kilrodos and I don't know that the 2 bank is blue. That's literally it. My entire game plan with there is that I've forgotten that their dial is different. Yeah. Okay. That's just on me. I'm not used to flying them.
So
which is a shame.
Here comes another mistake from me. I do I think that's a 2 bank.
That's a 2 bank
with 404. Take the damage from the loose stabilizer. I'm fine with this. I just want to get in and start shooting. I've killed one droid. If I can kill another droid with him, if he dies, fine. I've netted 4 points for the 3 points.
Yeah, exactly.
And at this point, I've realised I've hacked up, and I really wish droids had a boost. I'm so used to boosting ships, but no.
Droids have a boost. Fly Tri-Fighters, Sean. They have boosts then.
So I take a target lock onto Dirge. And actually, I'm not sure this is the correct call. I think I should have probably just locked the AI that's right in front of me at range 1.
Yeah, I think the droid is the correct one because you don't know where Dirge is going to go, and it's not likely, but Dirge might just initiative kill 404. So,
but by doing the 2 bank, I blocked Grievous's 3 sleep. So he bumps into 404 right in front of Sam's. Well, 2 of Sam's ships.
2 of Sam's ships. But one's got a lock and one's got a range 1 bullseye.
Doesn't take a damage. But what I should have done, I should have just moved Grievous first.
Yeah.
And then if 404 bumps, fine, 404 bumps. He's by far, he's worth 2 points less. He's going to do less work now his APT's gone off. Yes, Grievous would have taken a damage from the seismic, but fine. That's a damage that I know is coming through.
Yeah.
I think, I should have moved Grievous first there. Because it also means I have no way of getting Grievous turned around
next turn. You got a 2 straight 2 bank.
Yeah. Boy, do I wish the Belbelop had some better blues.
You know what? You can't be complaining about Grievous this entire time and then not have the downside of his blues.
No. But I mean, any maneuver that wasn't a straight or a 2 bank.
Yeah, it'd be nice. But anyhow, your Dirge.
My Dirge attempts the 5k, which gets blocked.
Yeah. Then my Dirge does a 1 hard, I think, which I believe bumps into 404, and I take the red focus. Dooku does a 1 bank to the right, which clears his stress. And I think I target lock 404 here.
I think you're right. Yes, you do. Django does a 1 hard.
Yeah, because I know that the obstructing rock is going to be gone shortly.
Django does a 1 hard because I know that I knew that Dooku was going to be behind me somewhere. So I was like, get in, start shooting someone out the front, even if it's obstructed. Veteran tail out the back into Dooku, which is probably the better shot. It's a fire spray. We don't care which one the good shot's out of, so long as I can do both. And I take a lock onto the yellow droid, because at this point I'm thinking, okay, try and kill the ships that are shooting Grievous, and I don't think that one's obstructed. The bombs go off and catch nobody from mine.
Yep. Mine, I destroy the rock that's obstructing the attack into 404. It hits Dooku, Django, Dirge, and 404, which, as far as I'm concerned, happy little trade.
Yeah, I mean, DBS is kind of a pain. It takes him down to 2, but I'm happy to lose the shield on Django.
Yeah. For me, this was, I want to kill 404 before he has a chance to randomly one-shot something. So 1 damage and remove the obstruction. Yes, thank you very much.
Whereas I was thinking, plinking those shields off Dooku so that I can start putting crits through.
Yeah.
Is fine with me. So Django does take the range 2 into the yellow AI. I roll hit focus. So I just spend I lock. I get greedy, and I lock the focus, and I roll it into a hit.
I roll evade focus, spend my calculate for 2 evades, and I take a damage on the Kilrodo.
And then I range, I think it's 2 out the back. I roll blank crit.
I believe I Dooku and evade here and roll and evade.
Yeah. Then it's my 5 who has no shot.
I go to my 5s, and Dooku takes the range 3 into 404. I roll crit focus, spend a force to malice for 3 crits.
I roll 1 evade, so he is dead.
2 crits. Can't remember which crits they are, but I didn't get my force back, so they weren't part of their crits.
No, I can't remember either, but... so...
Grievous. No, Dirge. Dirge was shooting, because you're checking for Soulless One.
Yes, that's it.
So Dirge, range 1 into Grievous. I roll hit crit blank.
You are not in arc, so I do get the Soulless One. I roll a evade blank. I Soulless One into another evade. And then we remove 404.
Grievous shoots range 3 into Dooku.
Rolls hit crit.
I roll 2 evades, lose another shield. And then my 2 kill rotos start shooting Grievous.
This is not a complaint at all, because Grievous has been rolling like that, but your greens on Dooku have been...
Yeah. So the green kill roto, the full health with a calculate, fires a shell into Grievous. I roll hit blank focus. I spend my target lock on the blank and focus to get a crit, so hit crit into Grievous.
Do you know, funnily, I think that's one of the few times I wouldn't have spent the lock on the focus.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but I just was like, at this point...
Purely because it's a hit to crit, a focus to crit generation. But...
Yeah, but that's not good into Grievous.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Like any other ship, sure, but I don't really want crits. If I was,
is it a May?
Yeah, I don't have to. I can spend the calculate normally.
Cool. I roll blank focus. I am Soulless One into a focus, so I take them both. The crit,
so hit crit.
The crit is a direct, so we're like, nope.
Pervium plating. So it's the second direct hit that you've deleted. Oh, everyone loves Grievous when it happens like this. The other kill roto, range 1 into General Grievous.
Rolls nothing.
I forget that I have Predator.
You forget that you have Predator?
Because I rolled 3 focuses. Should have at least re-rolled 1. Come on, Sam. Then the Howard Charlotte and the Iron Assembler don't have a shot.
I thought you rolled 2 focuses and a blank and re-rolled it into a focus.
Possibly. I didn't see it. It went through quickly.
Ignore the overlay. I think I've forgotten to take that last damage off Grievous. He is, in fact, on 4. Because I think I take 2 off in a minute. And we score a point each. 6-6.
Yep, 6-6.
So I'm definitely dropping bombs this turn with Django, because there's pretty much nowhere Dooku can go that it's not likely to clip one. I was actually going to hard turn Dirge with Contraband and boost in after.
I don't think you need to. Like I said, Dirge is there to be annoying, not to murder me.
No, but at this point, I've lost 404, Grievous is whittling down, and you've got enough ships left to, well, to say outplay me on the objectives. You can't outplay me, but, make my life a pain.
Yeah. But yeah, so you do drop the thermals. I don't drop a seismic. And the Iron Assembler rotates 90 degrees to the left on the rock and fixes himself and calculates.
Yes, I do forget to give his health back for a couple of turns on this, because I completely forget he can do that.
The Kilrodo just behind General Grievous does a 2-bank to the left and takes no action as far as I can tell.
I want to say you attempted a barrel roll in front of Django.
Oh, yes, yeah. I tried to barrel roll in front of Django, yes, because I was like, oh, if I can block him on his own seismics, thermals, that'd be great. The other Kilroda does a 1 hard to the left and calculates. The Howard Charles does a 2 hard to the left, just missing the rocks, barrel rolls to the right and calculates, so he's now directly in front of Django, and I'm hoping to just have him or Grievous in arc, essentially.
At this point, a little bit of me was like, and you'll find out why in a second. Grievous does a 3 straight, but puts me close to the bomb, so I barrel roll to the left, but I don't link it to the focus, because if I keep stressing myself, you're just going to chase me and chase me and chase me.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to take
I've been on that end of it.
I'm going to have to take one turn where I'm just relying on the Soulless One rerolls, and then I can turn around next turn. Or at least do a hard turn or something, you know.
Yeah. Dooku, I believe, does in a 3 hard and bumps into Grievous.
Why the roll? Oh, Dirge. Dirge just bumped into your Pow Chow. Sorry.
Yeah, Dirge bumped into my Kelrodo and doesn't take anything.
So I do the one hard with my Dirge. I don't pop Contraband because I think boosting in just puts me into thermal range. And then I do a 4 straight with Django, which gets blocked by your blue
Power Chow.
Lands me on the rock. I think I roll it. We get the template out here because what I was trying to do was jump the other side of that rock, land in the little gap that's there, get the range 1 into the iron, or range 0 if I bump into the Iron Assembler, and then Veteran Tail out the back. And actually, if you hadn't a barrel rolled, would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I go through the rock, but all right, fine. I was a full health fire spray. I'll take that.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, good call. So yeah, Django lands on the rock. Yeah, just take the 1 damage.
But isn't shooting this round, and that's important these days.
Very important.
I say, luckily for you, I think he's just skipped out of Dirge's bullseye as well.
So the bombs go off, and they both hit Dooku.
And that's it. I take 2 damage from that.
And that shields and a damage through.
Yes, so I've got 5 health left. It's half points on Dooku. I Roiling Anger to get a force back.
Nothing from... Oh, yeah, we did forget to mention that Sam is, in fact, first player this term. Nothing at I6 because he's on a rock, so you're 5s.
So Dirge, range 2 into... is that range 1?
It's range 1, yeah.
It doesn't look range 1. Range 1 into Django. I roll crit focus.
I roll 2 blanks. I elusive into an evade.
And then General Dooku. General Dooku. We'll do that. And Count Grievous. General Dooku shoots into Count Grievous. Range 0. I roll 2 hits.
I roll 2 blanks. Unfortunately, you're in arc, so no rerolls. So I take those 2. And that's when I noticed I hadn't put 1 on. So Grievous down to 2.
So that's half points on Grievous for me. So we're 9-8.
I take all these modded shots and shells, and I re-roll my way out of them. The bloody range 0 one, though.
Well, I think it's more than that. It's when Grievous doesn't have his re-rolls, all of a sudden he starts taking damage.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting Dooku to be there, certainly.
Yeah, that's fair.
So yeah, we go to my 4s, and I take...
Your 5.
Oh, no, my 5, sorry. Actually, I do actually wonder whether I should have shot here or not. Because...
I think you should have. Because 2 on 0 and 3 on 1, none of you have... There are no mods anywhere, is irrelevant. You may as well shoot both shots.
You have the force. So actually, yeah, maybe shooting just so I've got... Yeah, that's fair. So I do. I roll 2 blanks. No. And then Grievous does a range 0, rolls hit crit.
I roll a focus, so I spend a force for an evade and take a crit. That is a fuel leak.
And we go to the wands.
My wands. I can't remember who I shoot with the assembler here. I can't remember if I go into Grievous or not, because I'm pretty sure I've still got my shell.
I think you go into Grievous.
Yeah, it looks, well, we'll find out in a sec. Either way, I roll 3 dice, so it must be the shell into Grievous, and I roll blank hit crit.
I roll 1 evade.
No, I'm going into Django because you just spent a force. This is range 1.
Yeah, I guessing I rolled a focus and spent the force. So he takes a crit, which pops on the shield.
Yeah, I believe I've got a range 0 into Django. I must have... you know what? This is a mistake. If I still have a shell on the assembler, I should have fired it into Grievous here.
So...
Because when would I have fired the shell? I don't think I have.
I can't remember. I should probably start.
I think I just wasn't thinking here.
I should probably start tracking them on the overlay.
Yeah. If I still have the shell, and I'm pretty sure I do, that's a mistake. I should have shot Grievous.
Yeah. You don't do the range 0 into Django here. This looks like a 3 obstructed into Grievous. Yeah. Is this the guy you remember's got a shell and then...
Yeah, so this guy definitely has a shell, but I think the assembler has a shell as well. That's the thing.
Fair.
I fire a shell into Grievous. I get hit, crit after no mods because I'm a god.
I roll 2 evades and a focus. I Solus 1 into a focus, so I take the crit. No impervium plating. It's a loose stabilizer. I'm on 1 health, so I'm not turning around this bloody turn anyway.
Yeah.
But hey.
Then my... Kelrodo I, range 2 into Grievous. I roll focus crits, spend the calculator for hit crit.
I roll evade blank. I Solus 1 into 2 evades.
Range 1 into General Grievous from the other Kelrodo I roll 3 blanks.
And at that point, I was like, whew. Obviously, with that, you've had half points on Grievous as well. So we do the objectives, and it's 10-9.
Yep.
Right, now I just need to keep Grievous alive, but he's got a loose stabilizer, which kind of makes it a little bit tricky. Specifically because he's got 1 health. Otherwise, most of the time, I'll just be like, nah, I'll take it to do something that someone isn't expecting.
Yeah, no, my mind is currently going back to the third. I think the Iron Assembler has a shell, and I should have fired it at Grievous.
Fair.
Absolutely. Should have fired it at Grievous. There's no reason not to. That's a mistake on my part. And
unless he doesn't, then we've just missed it somewhere.
No, I don't remember ever firing his shell because I had range 1 into Grievous. Range 1, no, I had no shot. Range 1 into Grievous, then no shot.
Fair.
So yeah, he still has his shell. Or I likely just used it on Django there, right? Because I don't think that's range 1.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe you shelled into Django.
Yeah, which is still a mistake. I should have shelled Grievous.
Because I've got no impervium now to negate crits.
And it would be 3 on 2, and if I just rolled semi-decently, I could at least push some damage through.
Yeah.
Anywho, moving on.
We roll off, and I am first player again. And there is no system phase.
No system phase at all. So the Kelrodos, basically the one just behind Grievous leapfrogs Dooku with like a 4 straight, I believe, and calculates. The other one does a 2 straight and calculates. The Howard Child in front of Django does a 2 hard to the left, lands on the center rock, flips the struts and calculates. And the Iron Assembler that reveals a 3 straight, I believe. Yeah. Or do I turn?
No, you stay straight. He's moved already.
Yeah. Okay. I flip my struts, fix myself again, and calculate. Back to full health on the Iron Assembler.
He's back to full health, which I do clock in a minute. Grievous does, I think, a 4 straight.
That looks like 4 straight.
4 straight. And I fix the loose stabilizer because I need to turn.
Yep. Yep, you've hit that point. You need to turn.
Dirge does, I think, a 1 bank. Doesn't bump. And takes the focus.
And then this is where I misjudge it, basically. Dooku tries to 2-sloop over the Kelrodo and just doesn't make it.
That must be close.
Very, very bad. Well, it's basically, it must be close, but either way, it's very, very bad. I'm facing the wrong way. I have to roll for damage, and Dooku's not doing too well.
No damage, though.
I don't take damage, but there's a Dirge right behind me. Django likely has a shot. And I'm stressed. So my Dirge, I believe, does a 4 straight around the back of the Howard Child and Django. And because I thought Django might head out to the bottom right corner, I boost into a focus. Just to try and cover that angle.
Django pops contraband, does a 3 Talon, goes forward, boosts to the left, which slides past Dirge, so that I've got a shot into the blue Howard Child on the rock, and then a range 1 out the back into Dirge.
Or just Dooku.
We go to engagement. And I think I do
I'm rolling anger.
You roll.
Because I'm insane, apparently.
Yeah, I'm curious why there.
I thought it was range 3. That's what I thought.
Fair
that
enough.
might just be range 3. That gets me full force for a guaranteed evade.
Yeah.
That's all it was. But it's not. It's range 2. So
I roll hit crit.
so Dooku's dead.
Not that. Oh yeah, because
Dooku's dead.
Yeah, Dooku
no
is
evades,
dead.
and I've got a fuel leak.
Yeah, the fuel leak finishes it. So that nets me another 3.
And it's another 3.
Then I range 1 out the back into Dirge. I roll hit crit.
Roll a single evade, so I lose my second shield on Dirge.
Then your Dirge.
Your Dirge, actually.
Oh, my Dirge.
This is your Dirge.
That'll be why there's no lines.
Yep.
So I'm like, do I do the range 1 shot into the droid that's got General Grievous? Or I've got a HLC lined up into the blue droid. And we'll find out what I choose in a minute. It's the range 1. Because if I can... because he's taken the damage already. So it's like, if I can push 2 through, great. If I can push something, a crit through...
And I'm in your bullseye, so
and you're in your bullseye,
no
so you can't
defense.
spend the calculate. I roll 3 hits.
I roll 2 blanks, so I die, and I pass the calculate to the other Kilrodo.
Who then shoots?
Who then shoots range 3 into Grievous. I roll a single hit.
I roll an evade.
The Iron Assembler has a range 2 shot into Django. So yeah, here's the shell. Here's the frigging shell.
Yep.
So
Here's the shot.
Yeah. Fire a shell into Django. I roll 2 hits and a focus. I spend the calculate for a crit.
I roll 2 evades, and that is his last shield. And then we both score a point to go 16 den.
Yeah. 16-10. Yeah, so yeah, that is possibly the game-losing mistake, is just not shooting the shell at Grievous when I had the chance. Because I see it now in the replay. I guess I just must not have noticed. I must have sort of seen the range 1 into Django and thought, oh, excellent.
Yeah.
So I drop a seismic with my Dirge because I'm thinking Django is probably doing a blue, which means he might not be going that fast. The Kilrodo just does a 3 straight, being like, if Grievous goes left, I have a shot, probably.
Yeah.
The Howard Charl on the rock does a 2 straight off the rock because he doesn't want to be anywhere near that seismic charge going off. And the Iron Assembler stays where he is and calculates.
So Grievous does a 1 hard to the left. And boosts into a focus.
I had priority, by the way, so my Dirge now goes.
So your Dirge.
And I do a 1 bank, target lock, Django.
I do a 2 straight with my Dirge. I barrel roll to the right and link it to a focus, hoping to just clip the bullseye on the back of the blue droid. And then I 1 straight with Django and boost to the left.
So when the seismic goes off, I have an option. I can choose the rock that does nothing, or I can choose the rock that hits both of my droids and Django. And I choose the one that hits both of my droids and Django because this is half points on Django.
And I think that's the correct call.
And half points on Django is worth a lot more than you killing a Howard Charl.
I mean, half the points on Django is literally worth those 2 droids.
Yeah.
So yeah, that nets you half points. And suddenly it goes from 16... Oh, we've missed a point on the overlay. I don't think I added my thing for the last one.
Possibly.
No, I've halved one of them, haven't I? Oh no, I know what it is. I killed the Iron Assembler and then realised
killed the Iron Assembler. Yeah.
And then realised I haven't thing. There you go. Puts them back up to 2. Where was I on that train of thought? Yeah, like getting that 1 point on him or 1 damage on him is worth the other 2 because even if I kill them, your net gain is the same.
Yeah.
And like 16, 14 is a lot, but if I kill them both, fine, I've won, but at least 14, it's a lot easier just to sneak those points in that you need. Like I
said, and also Django's just that much more killable, right?
Yeah,
he's not Bobber. He will die.
Yeah.
If you shoot at him.
So Bobber takes the range 1 shot out the front into Django. So you were talking about Bobber, it threw me off. Like
I said, he's not Bobber.
into the Howard Charl. He rolls 2 hits and 2. No, that's 3 hits, isn't it? And I remember this one because it's on. You can see it on the video there. It's at a weird angle, and I thought it was a blank. But it is in fact 3 hits.
You decline to use Slave 1 again.
I decline to use Slave 1 again.
I roll evade focus and spend my calculate for 2 evade. So had that been a crit, I might have died, but I don't because I only take 1 damage at the minute. But don't worry, Dirge is there. I believe this is a rear shot into Dirge out of Django.
Yeah,
and you roll crit.
I think it plinks range 3. I roll 1 crit, you roll an evade.
Yep.
I believe I have the bullseye here. So it's a HLC into blue. I roll 2 hits, 2 focuses. I spend the focus.
Yep. I roll my 2 greens. I roll evade focus and die. So it's 18, 14.
Then the only... No, you got 2 shots.
Yeah. I have the Kelrodo into Grievous and the Iron Assembler into whoever. And I guess. Again, it is Django here.
I believe this is the Kelrodo into Grievous.
Yeah.
And you roll 1 crit.
So I roll a single crit and you roll evade focus.
Yeah.
Then the Assembler rolls a single hit into Django and you roll evade focus blank.
15, 19.
Yeah. So I know I've probably lost.
I mean, yeah, so long as I keep Django safe and, you know.
So here's the interesting thing here. Is in my head, I was like, I've lost. Django 1 straight. Dirge can't possibly get there. Your Dirge, I don't know, goes after the Iron Assembler to just stay in the middle and score the point. And Grievous Grievous is invincible, so it doesn't matter what he does. My Kelrodo can never kill him.
Well, I mean, you say that. I was worried about your...
I mean, you should be worried about Grievous, but like, it's sort of like the way the game has gone is like... I thought even if Grievous dies, you win, right?
I thought a hard turn to the... Well, if Grievous died... Yeah, actually, because you got half points on him. I wasn't remembering that, so I was just thinking of him as 5 points.
Yeah.
But like I was like, if you hard turn and then just kill him, then not ideal. And yeah, you're right. All I got to do something stupid and give my opponents a chance to kill Django.
To come back. Which is what's about to happen, by the way, anyone listening. Sean is about to do something silly and give me a chance to get back in this game. Anywho, start setting the dials.
So you're first player. Not that it hugely
matters. Doesn't really matter. Dirge on Dirge. That's the only time it matters. So the Iron Assembler reveals a 3 straight or something, stays where he is, calculates.
You know, I should have done here, don't you?
What?
Dropped a bleeding seismic from Dirge.
I mean, yes, that would also help. So the Kelrodo does a 2 hard to the left and calculates, because I was like, Grievous, I can't do anything else more complicated than that because I don't know where Grievous is going. I just got to hope that you screw up. Grievous, however, does a 1 hard to the edge of the board, and I'm pretty sure is out of my arc.
Yeah, so I'm like, at this point, I'm like, this is the last turn. Like, long as one of my ships is range 2, I'm on 20. Okay, you might kill Django and win it, but... So, yeah.
But there shouldn't be an option for that one, Sean.
So, but my point is, like, there's not going to be another turn. So, yeah, I hard one Grievous to the board edge, hoping that you think I'd go left and dodge an arc, which I do.
So my Dirge does a 1 hard to the right, boosts into a focus, just hoping to line up a shot into something.
Dirge does, I think, a 2 straight. Barrel rolls to the left and links it to a focus. And Django does a 1 hard.
And here again, you should just boost.
Yeah. Because I'm currently in Dirge's Bullseye.
You're currently in my Proton Cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have just boosted. But I don't. I take target lock because,
Because you just really want the Iron Assembler to die, I guess. I don't know.
He was triggering me a little bit.
You shot him once.
Yeah, but it was like regaining full health. I had him from down to 1. So I go into him. I roll 2 hits and a blank. I spend the lock into a blank.
I roll blank focus, spend the calculate for an evade.
Still doesn't die.
You shoot my Kelrodo out of the bum. You roll hit crit. I roll evade focus, and I spend the calculate for 3. Then my Dirge fires a proton cannon into Django. I roll 2 hits and a crit and a focus. So I proton cannon the focus to a crit.
At which point,
all of a sudden, I have a chance.
But thankfully, I recharged the elusive when I did that 3 Talon. I roll evade blank. I'm guessing I spent it.
I'm guessing you don't actually use elusive.
I may have spent it beforehand.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to keep track at 8 times speed.
Yeah.
I take
hit crit.
So hit blinded pilot hull breach. Right.
So you're on 2, not dead. But Align Assembler's not dead yet.
Dirge has a range 1 shot. Rolls crit focus, spends the focus for hit crit.
And I roll focus, which means the Iron Assembler is now finally dead.
He's
and
dead
the game
now.
is over. Because the Kill Rotor does not have Grievous. And the end score is 2015. Yeah, and if you're on YouTube, you're seeing us being like, so what? I was like, why didn't you boost? Because like that's just like literally the game-winning play.
Yeah. And then we're like, boost forwards, boost to the left, just see what... Like, a boost to the left still leaves me out of bullseye.
Yeah. Because then I have no choice but to go for Dirge.
Which you're not going to kill.
And which I'm not going to kill, just, like straight up, just not going to have like. But like that would still be my best option because a range 2 regular rogue class isn't going to deal 5 damage to Django, but the proton cannon might.
Yeah. But hey, no, interesting game. Like I genuinely think if Dooku doesn't bump that 2 sloop, it could be a lot different.
Yeah, I think there are a lot of things. I noticed a few things like the Kilrodo moves. Like whatever, I'm just not used to flying them with a different dial, like a completely different looking dial.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing. But watching it back, I should have shot the shell into Grievous.
Yeah.
Like especially just because I had it right. Like
yeah.
And this is a Grievous who has only Soulless 1 rerolls. So yeah, silly Sam. But I like this sort of list. So this is the sort of list I'm thinking of sorting out. Basically, a bunch of droids with shells, and then I'm just going to work out what the final points are.
I mean, that's fair. I actually quite like Dirge as a 4-point objective monkey.
Yeah, objective monkey, slap proton cannons on, because then sometimes you're just going to be like, haha, bang.
Yeah, I was like, I tried him at club night last night with HLC and ion cannon just to give him that 3 dice, but actually, in specifically the list that I'm flying, you don't really need the extra damage because Grievous, 404, and Django are there. Like having someone who can cloak, wait, and then use an action for claiming on scramble and that is quite useful. And even to be fair, have him on salvage mission. All right, you can't cloak. And you can't boost the barrel roll, but he's still, if you keep him out the main fight, focusing every turn, and if your opponent does kill him, repair a load of cards.
Yeah.
Because actually, if you would be destroyed, so it's a replacement effect, so you wouldn't drop the crate.
Nope.
So, if he can tick up 4 points, 4 rounds of holding a crate, he's paid for his cost.
I guess the problem is he can't be cloaked whilst holding a crate, right?
No. But as I say, if you keep him like range 3 and try and stay away from the main engagement, then that's 3 dice normally with a focus. Yeah. You've got to go through 7 hull and then whatever he repairs.
Yeah.
And like if your opponent guns for him, then you've got 3 ships shooting at them.
Yeah, you've got 3 strong ships that he can't ignore. Like you can't ignore Grievous, you can't ignore 404, and you can't ignore Django.
Yeah,
but you can ignore Dirge, and then it feels odd to do it because he's usually just scoring an objective, right?
Well, that's it. That's like if they ignore Dirge and he's just scoring objective, fine. That'll be the random time I just try and line up sneaky range 3 bullseyes and But hey, so yeah, it should be interesting.
It should be interesting indeed.
So, anyone who remembers from last week, we're actually recording this a week early because I will have been away between last week's episode and this week's episode. So by the time this one gets dropped, it will in fact be a week until Sith Takers. I Ironically, Sam and I will have done another little store tournament in that time because we are going to one that would have been yesterday. God, it's hard getting the future past tense. So that'll be a couple of like 3 or 4 games that we can actually get some practice for some lists, and you can decide if you do want to take your shells to Sith Takers.
Yeah, I feel like at this point, I'm either shells or contingency, right?
Yeah.
So,
and then so next weekend we will be at Sith Takers, which means the likelihood is we'll drop next week's podcast episode. It'll either be early on Friday before we go, or it'll be Monday when we get back. So
yeah.
We'll have to see. If we run out of time, it'll be Monday when we get back. I'm off work Monday, so I can.
Yeah, so am I.
So I can get it done, get it edited, get it uploaded. And if it is Monday,
leave it at that.
I say if it is Monday, we might just pop back in and record a little bit about how we got on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think leave it at that for this episode. We had an interesting game. It was a weird game. I think what it comes down to is like if I just don't bump with Dooku, this game is a lot more interesting because like the bump with Dooku kind of just swung it one way and I couldn't recover. And
then ditto, if I'm just not stupid with Django, it's a lot safer for that last turn for me.
Yeah.
But hey.
Tell you what though, proton cannons, like they can really hit hard.
Yeah, because I mean, like I've ummed and ahed about proton because it's like, oh, you know, you're only getting it every other turn. But actually, I fired one HLC that game.
Yeah.
Like how often do you realistically line up the bullseye? Every single turn?
Not. Not often, I think is the
all right,
thing there.
There'll be the times where you can and you'll miss being able to do it every single turn, but having the actual free mod as well is quite nice. Right, but yeah, you're right. We're wittering on. Or I'm wittering on, so we will wrap it up. Thanks for listening, guys, as always. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.